We basically are one of the three new members that were accepted yesterday. So there are altogether now in the United Nations World Tourism Organization a total membership of about 153, including Brunei. There's a lot that we can do together in trying to address some of the common agenda, and I gathered from the deliberation in these last few days, the tourism industry increasingly becoming, I think, a vehicle to address some of the global issues which Brunei is particularly keen to address at the global arena, given its small size. And of course, membership in UNWTO would give at least us a special place in that global arena. And those issues include, for example, the issues of poverty alleviation, the issue of generating employment opportunities, particularly for the rural community, and the issue, of course, which we talked about this morning, quite extensively in the context of what's happening next month in Bali, climate change.
Have there been some effects that climate change have had right now on Brunei or its neighboring Borneo?
Brunei is very fortunate. It is very fortunate because, number one, it is a relatively young economy. Industrialization is very much restricted to what has actually driven our economy, the oil and gas industry. And the bulk of what we produce is actually not consumed in the country. It is actually just a small part that is consumed in the country, less than 10%. But 90% of it is actually exported, and primarily Japan, Korea, the ASEAN countries. A bit of our oil, for example, goes to United States of America, and China is increasingly, hungry for energy, and so increasingly I would expect that quite a bit of our export would also go to China. What Brunei is doing is exporting what I call the carbon, and as opposed to emitting it. So we owe, I think, a certain responsibility in the battle for reducing, for example, greenhouse gases. Population is about 400,000. I get that that's about, is it 100th of Colombia?
Right, they're 40 million.
40, well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not 10%, but basically it's 1%. Developing, for example, our ecotourism sectors, creating employment in this rural community will give us sustainable approach to combating, say, poverty. If it doesn't happen today, it doesn't mean it's not going to happen tomorrow when the oil and gas runs out. So I think it's best advised that we prepare ourselves today where we can still afford it and address the problem of poverty, not when it happens, but you deal with it before it actually happens. And that's the approach we've been taking in Brunei. You do it while we're rich.